Hey man, here's a little walkthrough of some scales on bass. So let's first start off with the most common one, which is major. And for all these scales, we're just going to be playing them in C, so you can see the difference between them the easiest. Okay, so the first scale is major. It's the most common one. Most other scales are built upon it. And starting on C, this is what it sounds like. And back down. So that is consisted of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C again. So again slowly. Yeah. So the next scale we're going to look at is the minor scale, which is like a sad sounding scale. It's also one of the most common scales you're going to find, and it sounds like this. And back down. So that's made up of C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. So now the next scale we're going to be looking at is called the dominant scale, which is like major, but it's got a flat 7, which can make it sound a little funky, and it goes like this. The difference between the major and this scale is this note here. Whereas a major has this note, the dominant scale has this note. So again, slowly, it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, and then C. And we can sort of make a little funky line like this. Something like that. Sounds pretty cool. So all those together, we can put them together into a bass line, essentially. And we're going to be going over a common 2-5-1 progression, which goes from the second to the fifth, back down to the first. Right? So let's start. So the second chord is a minor. So we can go do, 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 and to the fifth, which is a dominant. Do, 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 and then the first, which is major. Yeah, so let's play something, shall we? Something simple like that. So now moving on, we can look at some more interesting scales. There is the diminished scale, which is like a minor scale, but with a flat 5. So it's like this. That, I believe, is the half-whole diminished scale. It's not quite a full diminished scale. That would be something more like this. I think. I could be wrong about that. But the key point of a diminished scale is the flat 5, which creates a tritone with the root note, which is people call the devil interval, but that's not really true. It's just a nasty sounding interval, which can be really cool for tense chords. Yeah. So aside from the diminished, you also have the augmented scale, which is like the diminished, but I guess happy, where it's got a sharp 5. So that's sort of like this. Got that sharp 5 there. It's pretty cool. But the ones that I do want to talk about are the harmonic and melodic minor scales. So these two scales have their own set of modes, whereas all the scales that I showed you before, the major, minor, and dominant, are part of the major scale mode, meaning they all play the same notes, but they start at different points. So say we want to play a dominant scale, also known as a Mixolydian scale, which is the 5th mode of the major scale. We want to start on the 5th, so we could start here, but let's start an octave down just to make it a little easier, and we'll play the same notes that are in the major scale, but we're going to start on the 5. So it's like this. Same with minor, also known as Aeolian, but we start on the 6th, which is here. So we can go do 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 do. All the notes are still the same as in the major scale. So back to the melodic and harmonic minors, they have their own sets of modes. You know, the major scale, the minor scale, the dominant scale, they're not in harmonic and melodic minor. They have their own ones. But let's start off with harmonic minor. Harmonic minor is like the minor scale, but with a sharp 7, or in this context, we could call it a natural 7. So it's like this. And back down again. Yeah. So those notes are C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B, C. And that's sort of got like a spooky sort of vibe, like the doo-doo. Cool. And now we get to melodic minor. The melodic minor is sometimes referred to as the jazz scale due to its prevalence in jazz. And it's essentially half minor, half major. And I'll show you what I mean. So the first half of it is minor. So it goes like this. But then the last part of it is major. So altogether it's... You can get some really cool sounding scales using the melodic minor mode. So slowly it is C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B, C. Now finally I want to talk about pentatonic scales. So we have all these scales, the major, the minor, the dominant, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. But a pentatonic scale is essentially a 5-note simplified version of these scales. And the two most common ones you're going to come across is the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic. So simply a major pentatonic goes like this. Right? So the 5 notes excluding the octave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The differences between this and a normal major scale is that you're not playing the 4th and the 7th. So it's just the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and then the octave. Cool. And now we have the minor pentatonic scale, which is probably the most commonly used scale when playing guitar or bass. And it goes like this. So it's the same as the minor scale, but you don't play the second and the sixth note. So again, it's like this. Which is really cool. A lot of cool bass lines are made off minor pentatonic, like that little Jocko run there. It's pretty cool. But another way to visualize pentatonic scales, which I've found, is by using shapes. So we can essentially draw a box with the notes, like this one here, that, and that. So you sort of made like a box. Bam, 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 bam. Now, we can put these boxes together to actually make the pentatonic scale. So with a major pentatonic scale, instead of doing this, because it's a bit of a reach like that, we can then instead move these two notes over to here. And we can play the major pentatonic scale like this. Or we can extend the boundaries. We don't have to play strictly these notes. We can play above it or below it. But if we go below and above it, we can form more boxes. So the root note's here, but we can go down to here and up here. So that's our first box. Dun, 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 dun. And then our second box can be like this. Do, 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 do. And then finally, our last box can be like this. So again, our boxes. Dun, 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 dun. Cool. Now minor is very similar to that. But instead of playing here, we play here. So the root note, we can play like this. Do, 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 do. First box, second box, third box. So we play a minor pentatonic scale like this. Do, 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 do. And then our boxes again. Do, 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 do. Yeah. So the last scale I want to show you is called the blues scale, which is pretty much the same as the minor pentatonic scale, but with the addition of what we call a blue note, which is a odd note. That can kind of sound pretty cool. So in the case of minor pentatonic, we will add this note here, which is between the third and fourth note, or the fourth and the fifth in relation to the root. So minor pentatonic is like this, do, 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 do. But a blues pentatonic scale is like this. We've got that additional note there. So again, cool. Hope that sort of helps with scales. And what we can do is we can then put all those together into a bass line. So I'm going to play a simple line on major pentatonic scale like this. Or minor pentatonic scale. Got a bit of major in there. Yeah, it can be really fun. Now, one thing I would recommend that you do is explore different scales. Like those scales I showed you are only a fraction of what's out there. There is so many more scales to exist. One of my favorite is Phrygian dominant, which goes like this. Which is a mode of the Harmonic Minor Scale. So all I did was I played Harmonic Minor, but I started on a different note, and I got this. Which is honestly pretty fun. So the last thing I want to say about scales and just making bass lines in general is you don't have to play them in C. Like, you've seen me play them in different spots. You can play the scale starting on any single note that you want. Now, typically you'll play a minor scale over a minor chord, a dominant scale over a dominant chord, or a dominant 7 chord, a major scale over a major chord. Those are the general rules. But you can play them wherever you want as long as it sounds cool, man. So, like, I could be playing major here. And then play major down here. So, I hope all these helps you, man. Yeah. Have fun with it. See ya.